I see. Firstly, it's the driver of new jobs and economic growth. I saw a recent study by the OECD that basically made the point that new jobs are coming from startups. So a disproportionate number of new jobs are coming from new organisations that have been around for less than 5 years. And we see in some countries that the small number of new startups are accounting for something like, in some cases, up to 20% of the new jobs that are being created. And the second thing is a strong tech startup drives competitiveness. Competitiveness, in turn, drives efficient allocation of resources. Bit of economic jargon in there, competitiveness, efficiency, and effectiveness. So look, if you unpack that bit, look no further at what's happening in Uber. About Uber, what that's done for the taxi industry. It's brought private vehicles into productive use. It's brought labour into productive use, using their spare time. All enabled by a digital platform, an organisation that was not around just a handful of years ago. Similarly, we look at mobile money. You may have been in the session earlier, prior to lunch, we heard from Moneyway, a new startup in England. The story that resonated with me was a person who had to settle a transaction on cash, needed to take a 7-hour bus trip to get to the point where the transaction could be completed, followed by a 7-hour trip back. We move now into mobile money applications, and all that hassle's gone, that waste of time that individuals had in settling a transaction in cash is all behind us. So today we've assembled a fantastic panel of speakers. Showing some of the group have got rich experience in the tech startup space. And I know that our speakers are from different markets. We've got South Korea represented, we've got Indonesia, of course we've got Thailand represented. And each comes from a different perspective of how they approach the support for the startups. So we've got a strong private sector represented, a strong public sector, and a hybrid, both public and private sector. We'll work that through as we go through. But given the interest of time, we have got off to a little bit of a late start. Let me introduce our first speaker, Mr. Jungbo Kim from Korea. He's the Managing Director of the Startup Alliance. So I'd ask you to put your hands together and welcome Mr. Min to the stage. Thank you.
Thanks for the kind introduction. It is my honor to be here, and I'm so delighted to sharing my experience in the Korean startup ecosystem. So I have 66 pages of the slide, and I have to finish within 15 minutes, so I make it quick. So let me share. What I'm going to share is that what happened in the last 2 years in Korea in terms of the growing startup ecosystem. So Korea has been actually known as the home of many successful IT companies, especially big companies like the Samsung or LG Electronics is very well known, global tech company. But in addition to those big companies, we have many more interesting IT companies, and mostly the internet companies born out of the late 1990s. Actually, companies like the Naver, Down, Gmarket, and Nexon, those are the very successful internet search company, online gaming company, online study company, education company. And then later, recent several years, we started to see the new wave of the new companies based on the mobile opportunity. The companies like Kakao and Kuka and others. So the number of the new tech startup is growing steadily in Korea right now. So it actually helped by the bill passed by the Korean government and promoting venture companies, and which is that established mostly almost 20 years ago. But even recent several years, and we had several challenges, and I like to raise 2 challenges in Korea. First one is a lack of venture investment. as a entrepreneur want to be, the problem is always that you don't have to. It's not that easy to find the investment for the early stage startup and other startups. So about 10 years ago, Korean government actually established a new agency, new company named Korean Venture Investment Corp. And actually they injected about $2 billion into Korean venture capital industry. Because before that, not many Korean venture capitals actually making investment for the Korean startups. So Korean government decided they have to provide a matching fund, mother fund for the venture capital industry. So last 10 years, it gave birth to the almost 400 Korean venture capital fund. So it helped to grow the venture capital kind of investment for the Korean startups after dot-com crash actually dot-com bubble crashed. But even with that kind of money, we still have a problem because these kind of government-backed venture capital, they're even though they're making investment for the venture companies, they're rather actually provide money for the more stable company rather than making investment for the early stage startups. So after our new president, Madam President Park, actually took the office in 2013, she actually raised her kind of new policy drive as a creative economy because she thought that the Korean economy is relied on too much about the big companies like the Samsung, those Jaguars, LG, SK, and Hyundai Motors. Actually, we depend on too much about them. So we realized that maybe it is very imperative to grow the small companies and replacing those big conglomerates. So creative economy became first agenda for the Korean economy right now. So the new administration decided to pour more money into the early stage startups. And in order to making more kind of new small companies. So there are plenty of the seed funding opportunity actually provided by the government about 3 years ago. So there are so many R&D funding projects and programs actually provided by the various Korean government bodies. And one of the most well-known and successful programs is named TIPS. It's an acronym for the Tech Incubator Program for Startup. It actually works like this. It's when early stage incubator or accelerator make the investment for the startup, making $100,000 for the startup, they're actually getting the equity as instead. And then government actually step in and provide 5 times more funding as their R&D support money. And startup, they don't actually have to pay back all the money. And when they fail, they don't have to pay back the money. So it's a very generous program. And sometimes they provide additional $400,000 as a marketing expense. So it's sometimes 1 to 9 match. So it's a very generous program. The reason why Korean government actually provide this kind of program is because that the government official, they realize that the government official don't know how to invest in a promising startup. They don't know how to identify, how to select those startups. So rather than making investment by the government official, they think that they may just follow the qualified, well-known venture capitalists. So they are actually working with these 23 well-known qualified startups. So when they make an investment, they are providing matching fund for this kind of venture capitalists. So this program actually started about 2 years ago. And TIPS program actually provided the money fund for about 150 companies. So criteria for selecting those companies is first whether they have kind of unique technology. And secondly, whether they have a kind of potential to be a global company. So that's the most important thing. So we have many kind of very successful case. For example, this job training, this company provide the data, the review of the company, the job applicants, applies. So these companies actually first they get the seed funding from the tips and other angel investor for about 1.3 billion, and then later on they are able to raise about 9 million after that. And this company actually they're scanning business card and make it business information, save it business information on a cloud. And this company got the first kind of seed funding from the tips, and then they are able to raise almost $10 million from the private investor. So these are the successful cases. And second challenge Korean startup ecosystem faced about 3 years ago was the lack of startup culture and maybe lack of startup community, which means that if you want to be able to kind of make the start new company and you want to be able to kind of hire someone for your startup, there was actually nowhere to go. Actually, there's no place to meet the startup people, no place to meet the kind of investors and getting the information. So creating startup hotspot was very important. So in Seoul, where the Gangnam Style was born, and in Gangnam area, along the big boulevard, and we start to see the many new the startup community centers actually established in the last 3 years. The first one was a D-Camp. D-Camp was established by the bank foundation. So all the Korean bank actually put the money for the entrepreneurship and established the foundation, and they made a D-Camp, and then Startup Alliance, ours, opened the place, and the Model 180 is established by the Hyundai Foundation, and then Google opened the first startup campus in Asia last year. And even Naver, the largest internet company, they opened the accelerator last year. So now, it's been quite changed because of about 3 years, there's no kind of event and things happening in startup world. Now every day there's so many events out there, and plenty of the office space and event spaces actually provided for the startup community right now. So we have this kind of event almost every day. Many kind of the VIPs like French President Hollande visited this kind of Korean the startup space. Startup competition is actually held almost every day, and these are Google campus and startup related seminar and things like that. And not only in Seoul, but also the south part of the Seoul, suburb of Seoul, there's a place named the Pangyo Valley, and this is the home of many new big successful tech companies. And recently, about a month ago, Gyeonggi Province opened a new startup campus, huge 2 buildings, totally dedicated for the startup. And Korean government determined to push more about some entrepreneurship, not only for the Seoul. So they actually opened the spaces around the country right now. So they actually working with big companies, hand in hand with the companies, opened 18 creative economy innovation centers around the country now. So for the most of the opening ceremony, the president attended. And this kind of spaces and event is actually held every day around the country right now. So because of this kind of effort, and we have a good kind of promising signal, so as a result, there are growing numbers, the increasing numbers of the early stage investors actually emerged in the country because of these investors, they want to take advantage of this kind of government fund. Because government provides matching fund and other R&D support, they believe that this is kind of a good timing to get in and in the startup game. And another good thing is that the very successful entrepreneurs, they tend to make the running a good company and make the exit, make a lot of money, and they tend to be just sit on the money and starting another new company. And recent years, the very successful and famous, these kind of entrepreneurs, they started to establish the new venture capital and become a mentor by themselves and provide kind of help for the young entrepreneurs, helping growing the young startup these days. And another good thing is that the top talents in Korea, and most of them in the past, the young people, they want to get into the big companies like the Samsung or LG, or they want to become a doctor or lawyer. But recent years, some very smart people, they want to be an entrepreneur or joining a successful startup these days. So the KAIST, MIT of the Korea, lot of graduates actually now they are moving to the startup. Also, the talents who studied abroad, they're coming back to Korea and joining a startup. And from the very top talents from the top consulting firm or big companies, they are moving into the startup these days. And also, we are starting to see very successful Korean startups and in global stage. And the most well-known, prestigious accelerator program in the Y Combinator, there are 3 Korean startups actually admitted to this program. And probably most importantly, we have about 2 unicorn startups. The valuation exceeded 1 billion. So this is the company, the Coupang. This is company similar to Lazard in this area. And this company actually raised about $1 billion from the SoftBank Japan last year and became the first unicorn company in Korea. This is e-commerce, and they have been called as the Amazon of Korea. So thanks to that, several very successful, Korean startups, they are able to, raise the money from the prominent overseas investors from Japan, from the China or from the Silicon Valley. Those companies secured $1 billion to several hundred million of the dollars to their Series C or Series B round. And Korean big companies, they are known for the indifferent to the open innovation or M&A. So that's one of the reasons why Korean startup ecosystem is not working well. But these days, big Korean companies like the Kakao acquired the small startup, and SK, one of the big Korean conglomerates, they are recently making investment for the car sharing startup. So that kind of some atmosphere is changing. We started to see the more M&A activity or IPO these days. So I think that these are the important factors for the growing successful startup ecosystem. So I think that we are getting more improved because we have more experienced mentors. And we started to see the collaborative, cultures, and we started to have visible success stories. And the availability of capital is improving over the years. But we need to improve more other areas as well. So this is the map of the Korean startup ecosystem, the early investors, accelerator, government, and things like that. We started to see more players actually coming into this map. So we started to see the good virtuous circle is actually moving. And so I like to show this map. So this is the map we put together last year, last 4 of October last year. So what we are trying to do is that we have put together a logo of the successful startup, which raised more than $1 million. So these are the companies that have some kind of some promising future, I think. So we put together about 70 startups at that time. So now, 7 months later, we constantly kind of updating this map and putting the new companies into the map. Now, 7 months later, we have about the 150 startups actually in this map, which is actually raised more than $1 million. So I think that the Korean startup ecosystem is getting more improved and very crowded right now. So let me make, lastly, let me really talk about the advice, my 2 cents for the startup Thailand. So I think it is very important to have a national startup hero, local startup hero. Somebody's like Jack Ma or Mark Zuckerberg, because young people are actually inspired by this kind of hero, not by the government officials. So it is very important. And having more startup hub is very important. I visited Hobart yesterday, and having that kind of startup hub where people gathering together and exchanging kind of opinion and forming a team is very important. Also, teaching software skills to the young people is very important. So without the software engineer, you are not able to make a successful, startup. So, teaching them to learning that kind of thing is very important because software is leading the world right now. And also, government need to eliminate old regulations because these days regulation is not able to, keep up with kind of new innovations like Uber or Airbnb. So it is very important to put the smart regulation, eliminate it, and the old regulation and rules, and bring the new innovation fast as possible. Also, it is very important to bring in attract the top-notch VCs from the overseas. Invite those very well-known people from the Silicon Valley and other countries, and let them know there's some, good startup here, and let them make even a small investment, recognize them, and that probably becoming the catalyst for the Thailand startup ecosystem. And lastly, for government, it is very important to getting out of the way, because of the building of good, startup ecosystem is very important, and government can be a catalyst and provide the initial fund for the startup. But after private actor, people can coming in, and then it is very important to be let the entrepreneurs be the center stage, and they're actually kind of lead the way, and government is actually just helping them and getting out of the way, and that's very important. This is it. So thanks for listening my presentation. Thank you very much.
Certainly want to reflect upon there, so thank you very much for a very insightful presentation there, George. I was completely taken by the fact that you achieved so much in such a short period of time, and maybe part of that is the fact that you've got strong leadership to begin with, as you point out to the President there. And I think for many of the audience, local people in the audience, reflect upon the lessons that, the lessons there about how Thailand should approach things, and maybe that's something we can come back to in the discussion. It's a point to move to our next speaker. And again, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Dr. 28APR2016Ep4. He's from Indonesia's Agency for Creative Economy, and he's going to talk to empowering nations through creative economic sector. So please welcome Dr. 28 to the stage. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to be here to share the Indonesian experience in empowering our nation through the creative economy sector. So the issue of startup and incubators is now becoming the hype in our government. Therefore, this is a good chance to share some of the issues that we just recently started. Just before I begin, please allow me to give a snapshot of Indonesian profile to give you an update and understanding about our countries. Slightly, our geography has 1.9 million square kilometers. It's equal from London to Istanbul, or from San Francisco to New York. It's 6,000 kilometers from west to east. It's an archipelago country with 17,000 islands, so it's a huge challenge for us to manage the population. And if we compare the demographic, our population mostly live in the urban area, 51%, compared to the rural in 49%. So this is the urbanization, where people tend to move to the city to become a metropolitan city. And the demography, we have 255 million people, and with the growth rate almost 1.2%. So this becoming our priority to reduce the growth rate. And let's take a look about the composition of male and female. So male is dominated with 51.6%, and female is 48.4%. And on our demography, we have, considering the archipelago countries, it's creating a scattered population throughout the island, and they have a unique culture and a belief. So if you look at the data, we have 1,340 tribes and almost 300 ethnic groups. So among them, there are 750 dialects. So many people speak with their own local language. I think ICT can contribute their potential role in providing application translator for translating the local language. We want to preserve actually this local language. Otherwise, in a few decades, the local language, their character, will disappear. Now, let's take a look at digital market insight. As I mentioned before, we have a population with 255 million, and people tend to live in the urban area. In the urban area, mostly, if we look at data, the internet penetration now is about 28%, or about 70.7 million. It's still very low. And people tend to use social media as the preference application, and also mobile penetration is exceed from the number of population. It is 308 million, or 121% more than population. So it's almost similar in other countries. In terms of application, I think Facebook is the most preferred application, and then WhatsApp for communication. Twitter and other are the latest application. In terms of the usage, Indonesia has in urban area, people tend to spend almost 5 hours in internet. Therefore, our agency, the Indonesian Agency for Creative Sectors, look at this potential value. Backcraft was established. Backcraft is an Indonesian Agency for Creative Industry, established in 2015, in the year 2015, very new. However, the full operational was possible executed on September 2015 after the first layer has been inaugurated. Backcraft deals with policy making, coordinating among stakeholders, and to support creative sectors. Among them, we have 16 sectors. Among them, there are about sixth area, which has a very strong correlation with ICT sector. This is to starting from creation, production, distribution, consumption, and conservation. However, in spite of those six areas which is close to the digital, we also taking care of the non-startup for non-digital sectors. E-commerce is becoming our priority and becoming the one of the program from our president. Let's take a look at the graph. In terms of the online retail value in Indonesia, recently the Coordinating Minister for Economy, driven by Minister of ICT, see that the annual online retail growth is 40%, giving a strong reason as a potential value to boost on the e-commerce program. So e-commerce becoming like the bandwagon event to drive the economic sector. And having said that, government of Indonesia decided to emphasize e-commerce program due to significant value to Indonesian economy by facilitating small medium enterprise to market their product and then utilizing digital technology for moving forward. And we consider about the multiplier effect from the e-commerce, such as in logistics and mobile providers, including the creative industry. However, we found that there are 7 key issues that hindering the Indonesian e-commerce industry. Among them, infrastructures becoming the main problem because in the rural area and the unconnected area becoming our main obstacles. And then enabling regulatory ecosystem about tax, farm, and consumer protection, and as well as the third party's technology. That's why there are 5 guiding principles that we are taking care. That is slightly small. So all Indonesians should be provided with the opportunity to access e-commerce and conduct e-business. Secondly, all Indonesians should be equipped with skill and knowledge to capitalize on the benefit of the information economy. And then third is there is important transition. The issue of jobless should be minimized during the taking into account the impact of creative destruction, because recently there is a big and a huge demonstration against the like Uber, Grab, and many kind of application for transportation. So we have to keep an eye on this issue. And then legal and regulatory framework should be implemented to ensure e-commerce is safe, secure, and open. And then national player, startup and SME, should be protected in appropriate manner, considering the segmentation of the player, startup, SME, and established businesses. And then we break down the recommendation on 6 topics, from funding, tax, transaction, and consumer protection, as well as the education, human resources, logistics, and communication or infrastructure. From the overall plan on e-commerce that has been plotted, we put it on the roadmap as seen as in picture. So we do hope this program will successfully end in 2020, giving a huge contribution on economic sector and industry itself. So this is our dreams. Our goals is to increase. In 2015, the transaction on e-commerce is about $18 billion US dollar, and in 2020, hopefully it will reach 240 billion US dollar and CAGR about 67.9%. So the multiplier effect of e-commerce hopefully related to the industry, and it's also give impact to the GDP. As I dug out the online contribution to the GDP is almost 22%. Okay, back to the background roles. So these are the challenges for startup, as already mentioned by John Ho. So the problem comes from the e-business environment, innovation, access to the finance, networking, and access to the market. That's why the Indonesian Agency for Creative Industry was established due to the functional area. There is a deputy chairman on research and education, and then access to the capital or finance, and then infrastructure, and then marketing, IPR facilitation, and inter-constitutional cooperation. So this value chain hopefully will help the startup and incubators to drive the economic sector. Our goals is to establish, to nurturing the creativity, talents, startup development, and hopefully within 4 years we will establish 1,000 startups. However, due to their failure ratio about 5 to 10%, so at least we have to start to nurturing about 10,000 until 20,000 initial startups. Therefore, the conclusion will be first, digital content is growing and appealing to the market, and then digital technology is growing as well as the population and the economy. Government takes the in creating conducive ecosystem for e-commerce as a platform, and incubators and startups become essential part to boost economic growth. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks very much, Dr. Mooney, much appreciated. So clearly Indonesia come to grips at the early stages of establishing a startup ecosystem. So lots of challenges that you recognise there, but great plans ahead. So very success in that. Let's now move to our third speaker, and we have a switch now from the emphasis on the government side. We just heard from Dr. Mooney now to the private sector side. So it's a great pleasure to welcome Andrew Velseth from DTEC from here in Thailand, and he'll actually, Andrew is the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer at DTEC, and he'll talk to why Thailand is investing in early stage startups. So please give Andrew a welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Am I able to pull this off? Does this separate? Yeah. Okay. Feels a bit like a high school graduation speech. I have to stand at that the entire time. Okay. Well, very interesting thing so far, I'd say. I want to talk about something similar. And I want to talk to you about 3 things today. I want to talk to you about the incredible demand we see for digital services across Asia. I want to talk to you about what's possible when someone manages to capture that demand. And then I'm going to talk to you about how I think that telcos can best capture that demand and contribute to the ecosystem. So I want to start off with 2 numbers, 16% and 13%. Obviously 16% is higher than 13%, but what are these numbers? These are a statistic that I saw another time at a different presentation that interested me a lot because I thought it highlighted how important our mobile phones have become to us over the last few years. So 16%, that's actually the percent of couples that sleep in separate rooms. Maybe the husband snores, maybe for some other reason. Whatever the reason, 16% of people just don't want to sleep with their spouse. Now 13%, that's the percent of people sleeping separate from their mobile phones. So you actually have more people are willing and wanting to be separate from their spouse than to be away from that mobile phone for just one night. So I thought that was an interesting one. And then on the next page, I have a stat similar to what we saw from Indonesia. Two more numbers, which I found very interesting as well. 7 and 100%. So 7, that's the number of hours per day that the average person in Bangkok spends on their smartphones. So I was amazed to see 5 in Indonesia as well. So I mean, this is really a phenomenon across the region. And this statistic, it always amazes me. I mean, we are only awake 16 hours in a day, and 7 of them are spent on the smartphone. And if you think about it, those 7 hours are then spent using services, and that's that consumer demand I'm talking about. And if you look at what services they're using in Thailand, it really is dominated by 2 services, and that's Facebook and Line Messenger. And if you have a chance to ride the BTS when you're in Bangkok, take a look at the people around you, and you'll see almost everyone using Line Messenger on the BTS. And what is also interesting in that statistic is that out of those companies that are driving all the usage in Thailand, none of them are actually Thai companies. And that's the part that we want to change. So we want to help enable Thai entrepreneurs to create services that can meet even more needs of the Thai consumer. Because we believe that's how you will unlock the even more demand that is out there. So, in our company, we recently had a meeting where all the top managers met, and we were supposed to discuss our 5-year strategy. So it seems like ever since 2020, we came kind of close. All of the strategies were what's it going to be in 2020. So we talked about 2020, what's going to happen, and I thought it'd be interesting to see, well, what's actually possible in 5 years? I mean, how much can be achieved in a 5-year period of time? So I started just to search companies and see kind of how much growth some different companies had achieved in 5 years. And I took 3 examples, but I found about 50 that were similar growth. So there's a lot of these kind of stories out there. And the 3 I took were Airbnb, Didi Kuaidi, and Alibaba. So Airbnb, that's the hotel or the accommodation booking website. They had 17,000 bookings in the summer of 2010. Didi Kuaidi was not even a company at that point in time. Today it's a taxi hailing application in China. And Alibaba had around $140 million of daily revenue. Not too bad back then. In just 5 years, Airbnb grew 1,000 times with 17 million bookings in the summer of 2015. Didi Kuaidi went from not being a company to being worth over $15 billion. And Alibaba's daily revenue grew 100 times. So not 100%, but 100 times in a period of just 5 years. So it's an incredible amount of growth that can be tapped into when you're able to meet that unmet customer demand. But the interesting thing about these 3 companies and the other 50 examples I found when I was searching for them was none of them came from an innovation group within a large company. None of them came even from Google, for that matter. Every single one of those massively growing companies came from an entrepreneur. And part of the reason for that is those entrepreneurs have a unique ability to see what is the opportunity. They have skin in the game. And the other thing that you don't see, I liked your statistic that showed there were 30,000 startups in Korea. But there's not so many that make that list, right? There's a lot of startups that don't make it. And you mentioned the only 5% succeed statistic as well. So the point is, you get these amazing growth stories from incredible entrepreneurs. And the question is, how do you tap into and support those entrepreneurs? And we found one way that we think works, and that's through accelerator programs, which were mentioned in some of the prior presentations as well. So we have a program here in Thailand called DTech Accelerator. So what is an accelerator? Basically, an accelerator is a program that finds the best digital startup entrepreneurs, and all the logos that you see on there, those companies you know today, many of them are worth more than $10 billion. They all came through accelerators, and at one point in time were just 2 people that needed support to figure out how they took their great idea and really commercialize that into a serious business. But you try to find those businesses and those entrepreneurs with potential in the market, And then you try to give them all the support they need to take that idea and that product and actually grow that into a large commercial success. So some of the support we give them include financing in the form of equity investments. We give them working space to work at in our office. They get credibility so that when they go to large companies, they're not just two random 21-year-old guys, but they have some kind of stamp of credibility. We have one company that we invested in, and it's a personal finance company. And they were trying to convince the banks to let them download all the bank's consumer transaction data into their app. And the banks were, of course, very skeptical to give these two kids the rights to do that. But after sending some of our corporate employees with them who worked with the banks and could explain who they were and what they were doing, then they were able to get the credibility to do that. And then also customers. We have over 200 million customers across our 13 markets. And one of the big things we do when we invest in startups is we push and market those startups to our customers. And if you think about it, in an early stage, what a startup is trying to do is improve the product and then show enough traction and user growth to secure the next tranche of financing. And that kind of promotion that we can give is exactly what's needed to then get that user growth up. And finally, we take between 5 and 10% ownership stake in the company in return for this. So that's what we did. And there's a quote I like from Sam Zell, an American investor. He says, listen, business is easy. If you've got a low downside and a big upside, you go do it. And I think that's essentially what you have with these accelerator programs. If you're a telco or another large corporate like ourselves. I mean, in short, when we do these investments, we found that the marketing value alone that we gain from the programs and the PR exposure that comes with them actually exceeds the total cost of the program, the total investment. At the same time, we're constantly trying to position ourselves as a more innovative company. And we're trying to do this both to reach customers, but also to reach potential employees. And these programs also help us do that. Additionally, we need access to digital talent. This is some of the talent that we have the hardest time finding and recruiting in the local markets for our company. And these kind of programs help us get plugged into that exact network and get credibility with that network of people. So we've even already hired some of the entrepreneurs who came through the program, but whose idea didn't ultimately get more funding. And number 3, for a telco, our whole business is essentially providing internet access to people. So the more people who use internet, the more they use internet, the better it is for our business. And with that in mind, giving local entrepreneurs support so that they can create businesses that give people more reasons to use the internet is obviously good for our business. So the point is you have a few elements to these kind of programs when you do them as a large telco that essentially eliminate the downside. And then you of course have the large upside that you've taken investments in a number of companies, and if one of those ends up the next Uber, the next BYD, that's of course a very good thing. So what we talked about when we were, first let me tell you a bit about the results that we've had so far. So in Thailand, we've been running this a few years now. I actually see a few people from the program in the audience. Kurtain was one of the people who started this, sitting in the back there actually with me. Hello? And what we've done so far, what we've achieved, is we've screened over 400 companies in Thailand. So we've screened 400 investments. We made 11 investments out of those 400 companies screened. The marketing value of those investments and everything we invested into the program exceeded the total cost of the program. And then in terms of those 11 startups that we invested in, we were going to be very happy if we had a rate of 5% or 10% that got follow-on funding. It's actually been much better than that. So we've had, out of the 11, 7 have received follow-on funding or been acquired. The total portfolio has gone up 5x in value on paper, but that's the valuation that the subsequent investors invested at. And one of the companies alone went up 15 times in valuation between what we invested at and with the Series A valuation. And we hired one of the founders from the company, Indie. We just now yesterday closed this last year's round of investment, so we can add another 10 now to this list of 11. So for us, this program has been a real success, and I think it's the kind of thing that is good for other similar companies as well. And it's a good fit with actually what the countries and the societies need, because there's a good alignment of our commercial interest with the interest of the countries developing new startups and creating new jobs. So one thing that we discussed when I presented this at our internal company meeting of all those top managers, I was trying to get support to roll this out, not just in Thailand, but across our entire 13 markets. And what I discussed was what's possible for us within 5 years if we start doing this in all of our 13 countries instead of only in Thailand. So what I'll show now is not some kind of forecast that's simply taking what we've done in Thailand and mathematically multiplying it by 13 countries in 5 years. And what you see is that if we do this in all of our 13 markets, by 2020 we will have actually screened 13,000 companies and we would have made 400 investments. So it's an incredible amount. And we go back to this, wanting to be able to capture this kind of growth. Now I can't guarantee that we would find a company of this kind of caliber in all those investments we make. But I can guarantee that if we screen 13,000 companies and we invest in 400, our chances of finding some of those in each market become much better. So with that in mind, what we're doing now going forward, after that presentation that was given to the top managers, this slide, I think, really served to convince people that this is a good idea to do across our markets. So we now, after doing that, we have rolled out accelerators in 4 more countries. So we've launched in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Pakistan. We're near launching in 3 more markets. So that would give us a total of 8 markets, including Thailand, if we do it in all of those. And we start to get closer to that map that we have on the prior page. So I think that's one effort that we're doing to try to capture that growth, try to help the local societies, and hope that we can find some of those great startups and be a support to them. We just also launched another program called Telenor Ignites, where we essentially take exactly what we're doing in these accelerator programs, but we apply it to our internal employees. So if you're an internal employee and you have a great idea, you can apply to the program. If your idea is selected, we will give you funding, we'll give you time off to pursue it while you still get your salary from us. And essentially you can just pursue your dream while still having the security of a job with us. So that's how we're trying to mobilize our internal employees to innovate. And then we also have an event where we kind of sum everything up at the end of the year globally in Norway called Digital Winners, where we essentially bring in leading venture capitalists, companies, corporate investors for a multi-day event where people talk, discuss issues, and startups get a chance to pitch. So in short, those are the 3 things we're doing. That's the learning that we've had. And I have to say, after going through this experience now, running DTech Accelerate for a few years, investing in the startups, I think it's absolutely something that benefits the local societies, and I think it's something that makes a lot of commercial sense for companies as well. So I think there's a good synergy there between the both. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Very fascinating, very stimulating presentation, and clearly success all around. So our other speakers to the stage, and we'll have an opportunity for discussion. There's one material in there that I'd like to reflect upon. The microphone in my hand. I can have the privilege of starting things off. So I'll take a seat. We have a bit of time to have some questions, and I'm conscious of trying to stick to the schedule. But there's a few things that I wanted to pick up on. If I've got it correct, I wanted to pick up on Jungkook's presentation and the lessons that he gave for Thailand. Obviously very topical with an announcement that I picked up in the press recently where Thailand's minister announced plans to set up a fund and investing, I think, 20 billion baht, which I think that's getting close to $600 million US. So not quite the scale that we've got in your country.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So the question is, given your advice that you've got there, some of the lessons, I just wonder if you could pick up on what advice would you give the minister with that size bucket of money to work with?
the Prime Minister, I think that, as I mentioned earlier, that I've been finding local startup hero. So someone, you have to find someone who could be at the center stage in the startup world here and inspire the people out there. Somebody should become a magnet for the general public, and because most of the general public, just the ordinary people, don't know what the startup is, and they have no idea whether they should send their child or kid to the startup like that. Probably they don't like that because they want their children just go to the government or go to a big company. So without actually seeing it, any successful person like in the United States, Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, without knowing any kind of that successful case in this country, they probably don't believe it. So there must be somebody who already made the very successful case out there as established his own company and willing to help other startup and young people to become a successful entrepreneur.
So role models is the key thing. Yeah. Okay. One very strong point you made there was also about advice to government, which was get out of the way. And this is an opportune time to reflect on the views of both Dr. Buni and Andrew, given that from Indonesia's point of view, government-led. So initially, what's your reaction to the government getting out of the way?
Thank you so much. So actually, private sector and also the community started earlier than the government. They worked since I think 4 or 5 years ago. However, government just started this last year, so we prepared the roadmap and the mechanism to support the startup, like in terms of the loan as well as the funding system. So it's not easy because we are still learning as well from Korean experience or other countries, as well as from our Asian countries. I think Singapore has one of the most fruitful environment because the government strongly support in terms of the increasing number of startups, including as well as the ecosystem of the incubators. That is our lesson learned.
Thank you. And perhaps I could bring Andrew's perspective into this as well. So, put it into context that DTAC is just one private sector organisation operating in this space. So, there are others. Competitors in the mobile sector are certainly one of them. So how do you reflect upon that the fact that the government's investing some money? Can I pose the question, is that a threat or an opportunity?
No, I mean, for us, we think that it's great that the government invests. We think it's great if other companies invest. Going back to what I talked about in the presentation, a big goal for us is simply to help the local society and get more and more people using internet, access to and using internet. And I think the more money that flows in to the startup ecosystem, the more that actually helps. And today, in a lot of these markets, the startup ecosystem is smaller than it could be as a percent of GDP. So I think just getting a lot of that money flowing in helps it get up to more proper scale that it should be at.
Okay. Well, I think it's appropriate to open up to the audience for some questions. So, anyone out there got a question for our panel? Got one in the front here and another one listed over there. So we'll recognise those two for the moment. So again, if you could identify where you're from, just to help give the context. Thank you.
This is Mohammed Rashid, the DOT official from Bangladesh. I would like to draw attention from DTech presenter. You showed in the slide that you scaled out 400 startups to accelerate those companies from out of 13,000 companies I think it's a very strange and competitive environment for the startups to grow. So what incentivizing factors you think there could be the best options for the startups to come forward in the business area? If you'd like to, I'd like to listen to you. Please.
Just to repeat the question, you were asking then why should these startups do it, basically?
No, this is a question of role playing as an accelerator. Telenor worked as accelerator for startups, right? To take some stake of those startups,
Yeah.
right? You split out 400 companies out of 13,000. So many startups, they are actually trying to grow in the market, but they are finding only 400 companies are only finding the favors from big companies like Telenor or those kind of companies. So what will be the incentivizing options for more and more SMEs to come forward in the business or to grow? So if you can like.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that the process that companies go through to get funding from themselves or from anyone or any program, it's actually a good process that in a way separates the entrepreneurs that have the energy and motivation to make it from people who are just putting their toe in the water. And I think for ourselves, we invested in 11 startups before this year. That was not the limit for how many we could invest in. So we could have invested in even more, but that was the limit that we thought was the amount of startups that were actually of a high enough quality that they would make it through and get follow-on funding. So I think that there's plenty of space for more and more great startups to join actually, our program and also others.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Vincent from ITU. Actually, I really enjoy these presentations from three of you, three speakers. I have a question on particularly on Ms. Lim, that you mentioned about, Chris also mentioned, that the government should get out of the way. This is not the first time that I heard this. Actually, many startups mentioned about that. But at the same time, this startup also saying that the government should inject money to help them. Right? And given that, Bonnie also mentioned that a few percent of many startups will not succeed. Right? And the government needs to be accountability, especially in spending tax money. So I wonder what's the balance of this perception? Anyone can answer.
The reason why I'm saying that the government should get out of the way is that maybe I have to say that Korean government may be too aggressive for helping startups. So all the departments in the country and the local government actually pouring sometimes too much money for the to the startup, and they're actually providing some direct support, R&D funds and other things, and it actually sometimes make kind of bad effect on the venture capitalists and things like that, because some companies may be too much rely on the government money or support, and they're actually jumping on from these agencies to other agencies to get the fund from the and they just stay afloat, and some startup have to die when there is model or tech and the product fails, right? But sometimes in Korea, something we complain is that some startups and entrepreneurs just rely too much about the government money, and they're so-called grantpreneur and zombie entrepreneurs. They never dies. So it is, I think that the government should provide some kind of indirect support to be making entire, favorable environment for growing the startups, and eliminating some kind of obstacles like some legislatures and rules and some unfair regulations, and making a level playing field. I think that's the most important thing. But the countries like Thailand or other developing companies who actually doesn't have that much good startup ecosystem, it is also important. Government should step in and provide enough fund for igniting the early stage startups. That's also important. So what I'm saying, maybe getting out of the way is probably for the case of the Korea, maybe not for the case of the some early stage, startup ecosystem countries. So balancing between the two is, I have to say, is very important.
Anyone else in the audience got a question? We're running out close to our scheduled flow, so maybe I could just have a quick follow-up to that point there. I know your organisation, the Startup Alliance, is represented by both government and the private sector. So internally in your organisation, is there conflict? It's always aligned, and we have to set up conflict arising, and how does it resolved?
Conflict. Because sometimes I should follow government directions, maybe, and I shouldn't maybe complain about what they're saying. So maybe that's kind of some conflict I face sometimes. But I also believe that some people have to provide some kind of honest opinion about what should we do, and let So what I'm trying to do is trying to deliver what the real entrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, stage startups, and their problem, and I raise the issue toward the media or toward the government, because one of the kind of big obstacles Korean startup facing right now is that the regulatory issues, like we have a very strict rule about the finance. For example, fintech. The startup most of the startup is not allowed to transfer the money to overseas because only bank is allowed to do that. So clear up that kind of regulation in order to bring the new startup into the fintech field is very important. So what I'm doing is that raise that kind of issue toward the government and to let the people know that that's the issue. So in order to grow the new startup in the fintech area, and clearly that kind of regulation is maybe sometimes more important than providing direct support to the startup. So
one final call to the audience. Any questions, comments out there? Doesn't look like it. So that leaves me the duty to close the session. I think it's been quite fascinating. I've certainly learned a lot out of it. I trust you have as well. We've got a great line of speakers here, great support from the audience. I recognise that this afternoon, tea now on the second day, so I thank you very much. But please join me in thanking the panel and our speakers in the usual. Thanks everyone.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we still have the final session after this break, so please come back after 15 minutes. Thank you.